Let's talk about some interesting herbalism history in the forest. Back during World War II, the Russian government was desperately trying to find ways to get their soldiers to last longer in battle because the weather was cold and rough and they weren't able to last, more than 12 hours or something like that. And they were like, we got to push these soldiers even more. They're trying to make a super soldier, like Captain America shit. And what they did is they started studying some ancient Chinese herbs. Somebody gave them some ancient Chinese herbs and they were like, yeah, this is supposed to be for longevity, or this one's supposed to give you more energy. So they started doing their own clinical trials. So there was like 10 or 12 different herbs and they were testing them out on mice first. They would drop a mouse, a regular mouse, in a bucket of water and watch it swim around and see how long it took for the mouse to give up until it drowned. And that was basically like the baseline. And then every mouse successive after that, they would give each mouse a different one of those herbs and drop the mouse in the bucket and see which ones, if any, could last longer before succumbing to inevitable drowning. So they tested a whole bunch of herbs. Anyway, what they discovered was adaptogens. They named them adaptogens. These are things like eleuthero and ginseng, reishi, rhodiola. These are herbs that a lot of people have heard of because they're like, oh, in modern herbalism or in modern commercials and things, you often see people say, oh, you need more energy? Take these adaptogens. Take these adaptogenic herbs or adaptogenic mushroom blend and yada, 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 right? Anyway, they gave these herbs to the soldiers and it did in fact make the soldiers able to fight, a few hours longer or whatever, which of course makes a difference in the war. Not big enough difference, obviously, because they lost, but it still made a difference. And ever since then, that's the data that we as a culture, as Western society, has been going off of for adaptogenic herbs, other than some more recent studies on. Now, it's mindful to say, and I did put this in my book, Think Like an Herbalist, just so you know, some of those adaptogenic herbs are really not things you want to be taking, especially long term, in my opinion anyway. Most adaptogens were meant to be taken, even during World War II, they were meant to be taken for 1, maybe 2 weeks, okay? And there are people out there now taking adaptogenic herbs for years and years and years. Like, your adrenal glands are so taxed out because the adaptogens are giving your adrenal glands, more energy. You're basically tapping yourself out by living on the fake energy from the adaptogen. This isn't every single adaptogenic herb, but it is a lot of them, so you really do need to do your research. David Winston has a good book on adaptogens. He's like basically the mad guru herbalist on adaptogens, but also just do your research before you start taking any kind of adaptogenic herb, especially for longer than a week or two. Like, if you got a cram for exams or something and you need this adaptogen to get through, okay, but like, do not be living on adaptogenic herbs in your coffee every day for years, because that is going to be really bad for your body and system overall, because you're basically just sucking out all what little energy you have and not replacing it with actual nutrition and things that your body needs. You're surviving off of the fake energy that these herbs are giving you, and that's not healthy for anybody. Not trying to be preachy, just saying welcome to history class and herbalism, and hi, I'm Amelia, the No BS herbalist. Check out my book if you want to learn more.